Yo, what's up, swag? And you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Keon Lar, aka KM Swag, back here with a video, man. Look, man, we about to react to the tragedy of Spencer Rattler. Whew. I don't know what's going on, man. Shout out to Microphone, man. You know, every time I react to something crazy like this, man, Microphone got the news, bruh. And, I'm going to just react to it with you guys, man. Spencer Rattler. But a transfer. Let's check it out.
Ever been booed before at a game from your own fans?
What do you think of Oklahoma's quarterback situation? From what I saw, some Bolton person, Williams should be the quarterback.
Ooh.
If they're going to try to get in the playoffs and win it, Williams is the guy. The other guy cannot win it for him. There's no question Rattler will be gone next year. Yeah.
Most intelligent men and women would never tease a rattlesnake. The residents of Oklahoma, however, are different in more ways than one. Every spring in western Oklahoma, there are pits full of dozens of rattlesnakes, and groups of people come together wrangling these poisonous snakes while most are proudly wearing their University of Oklahoma shirts and ball caps. These same people pack into the Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. This fall in particular, these people once again harassed a rattler. Not a snake this time, but a college-aged quarterback named Spencer Rattler, a gunslinger at a university that has churned out NFL stars and Heisman winners such as Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, and Jalen Hurts. Yet once this rattler named Spencer became less venomous on the field, these hunters who call themselves fans came for him in the form of boos and hisses until the coach had no choice but to put him on the bench. Was this quarterback always overrated, or will Spencer Rattler be able to strike back and prove that you shouldn't tease a snake? Rattlesnake hunters are intimidating, especially when they are 86,000 fans strong, but the thing about rattlers, snake or quarterback, is most of the time they'll just build a new nest somewhere else. Break!
Damn! Oh my gosh! Yeah. I love that intro.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Just 1 month ago, Spencer Rattler seemed to have it all. He was a two-time Big 12 champion and a Big 12 MVP, destined to be taken in the top 5 in the 2022 NFL Draft. He was the envy of most college males, inking a NIL deal that included not one but two flashy cars, a 2021 Dodge Ram TRX and a 2021 Dodge Charger Scat Pack.
Wow.
Already had pocketed enough cash to purchase a humble home. However, within a week of his birthday, his fans, his coach, and of course the media had turned on him. Spencer Rattler is from the desert. Growing up in Phoenix, Arizona, this Rattler, by high school football standards, was as dangerous as they come. Even before he turned 15, the gunslinger received 14 Division I offers from the likes of national championship contenders such as Alabama, Miami, and Oklahoma. After a summer visit to Norman, Oklahoma in 2017, at the age of 14, verbally committed to become an Oklahoma Sooner and never looked back. In 4 years of high school, he threw for over 11,000 yards with 116 passing touchdowns and scored 14 touchdowns via his feet as well on over 1,000 rushing yards. On his 18th birthday, early in his senior year, he broke the Arizona high school passing record. He had the brains as well. Damn. A 3.8 GPA in the Elite 11 quarterback
he's smart
was named MVP of the event in Texas and was already a household name by starring in a Netflix show called QB1 Beyond the Lights. Yet Rattler's senior football season of high school was cut short for violating a school district code of conduct rule. The explanation never coming out, but rumors said it had to do with either underage drinking on campus, pranks, or behavior towards an opposing team. The entire ordeal was kept hush by school administrators and his family, with the missed time initially being hidden by placing the blame on an injury. That is until his family came clean that Spencer Rattler had broken school rules. Though specifics were never shared, the ineligible quarterback told Netflix camera at the time that he messed up with a childish, dumb mistake. Even with missing the majority of his senior season, there was enough film to speak for his talents, and Spencer was still considered a 5-star recruit of 24/7
That's fire.
along with being the #1 quarterback in the 2019 recruiting class.
Damn, I did not know that,
Spencer
bro.
Rattler seemed to be right on track, just as all the other successful Oklahoma quarterbacks that had come before him. But that would quickly change. The 6'1", 200-pound true freshman at the University of Oklahoma
he's actually
appeared
big,
in just
bro. He's like
3 games
6'1".
in 2019,
Damn.
completing
I
7
still
of
put him on
11
his ass,
passes for 81 yards with 1 touchdown and no interceptions. He was eligible for a redshirt season due to his lack of playing time, so in his redshirt freshman season, Rattler easily beat out Tanner Mordecai for the starting job.
Damn, who is
The
Tanner?
season opener was an easy win against Missouri State, where Rattler showed that he could manage the OU offense with grace. By week 2, with his second passing touchdown in the game, he tied the OU record for the most touchdown passes through 2 weeks with 8, a record that had been set back in 2008 by former #1 overall pick and Heisman Trophy winner Sam Bradford. However, in that second start, the Sooners, who are typically undefeated through most of the season, was upset by the Kansas State Wildcats 38-35. The #6 OU team then had to travel to Iowa State in early October, a team that was ranked #9 at the time but had historically struggled against OU. At home, Spencer Rattler tossed for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. Yet with the Cyclones up 37-30 with just over a minute remaining and the Sooners driving towards the end zone, Rattler threw into double coverage and was intercepted in the end zone, sealing the win for Iowa State, who would have for sure rushed the field if it wasn't for the fact that there was a global pandemic in the year of 2020. The 2020 showdown would be no different, as it featured a quadruple overtime game in which the Oklahoma Sooners would come out on top. After a poor start in the game, Spencer was sent to the bench, being briefly replaced by Tanner Mordecai, an event that would be an eerie foreshadowing of what would happen in 1 year. Rattler would return to be unrattled with wins against unranked TCU and Texas Tech, but Rattler injured his hip in the 62-9 win.
I got hit pretty good. I got my hip just under my rib cage.
The signal caller didn't miss any playing time, and after a bye week geared for Bedlam, a matchup against in-state rival Oklahoma State, who was ranked number 20, Spencer Rattler easily took care of the Cowboys, nailing 17 of 24 passes with 301 yards and 4 touchdowns. After an early 2020 win over Baylor, the 2-loss Sooners would again meet Iowa State for the Big 12 championship. Rattler was held to 1 touchdown in the 27-21 win, yet was awarded the Big 12 MVP award for his management of the victory. The Sooners season would end on a high note, winning against Florida in the Cotton Bowl, which would make for rather familiar confines for the Oklahoma Sooners. In his first season as the starting quarterback, Oklahoma's Spencer Rattler posted a QBR of 81.2, making him 11th out of all quarterbacks in 2020. Just like the other quarterbacks in crimson and white that had graduated at the top of their class, the ceiling in 2021 seemed high. The reality was that in football, he would soon post a failing grade. Prior to this 2021 college football season, Spencer Rattler was considered a Heisman contender and one of the top prospects for the 2022 NFL Draft. However, in the season opener, the Sooners, who are usually very dominant in early games, struggled to pull away from Tulane. The highly touted QB in Spencer Rattler seemed far from NFL material, with his 2 interceptions to his 1 touchdown in the 40-35 win. Sooners head coach Lincoln Riley seemed to show the first signs of not having full confidence in his second-year quarterback. There's a reason why Spencer Rattler chose the University of Oklahoma, and that's because they're nicknamed the Quarterback University, and Riley had another quarterback in his back pocket to go to who was a 5-star recruit and a #7 overall prospect. His name was Caleb Williams, and I'm sure you can't blame them, because if you took a look at his skills in the spring game alone,
he's a 5-star
you could see that Caleb Williams has a ton of talent. So Spencer Rattler would be walking a tightrope leading into the September 11th game against Western Carolina. Not even in for the full game, and on just 26 passing attempts, Rattler scored a career-high 5 touchdowns during the 76-0 rout of Western Carolina. After the win, a Norman car dealership announced that they were giving Rattler not 1 but 2 brand new vehicles. initials. Rattler had already been a spokesman for Raising Cane's chicken tenders and was cashing in from an online store that sold apparel that was stamped with his custom logo that featured his initials and his jersey number topped with fangs and the tail of a rattlesnake. You see, I'm not the only one that runs with the theme. Although his bank account was getting full, his time on the field was numbered, with the true freshman in Williams patiently waiting for his name to get called. Rattler did a better job of keeping the ball out of defenders' hands in a 23-16 win over the Nebraska Huskers, where he went 24 of 34 for 214 yards and a touchdown. Those fans were starting to get frustrated with their team not being able to comfortably come out on top. Just days before his 21st birthday, Rattler and the number 4 OU team hosted Western Virginia in the Big 12 opener. Again, the highlights were few by the offense anyway, with Rattler throwing into traffic for an interception and only scoring once via the air in a 16-13 win over the unranked Mountaineers. It was during this game when the Rattlesnake Hunters started to come for the quarterback. During the second quarter, with the score tied at 7, a chant broke out in Memorial Stadium. Fans could clearly be heard yelling, "We want Caleb."
Confused about crypto? We got you. With any $5 purchase in the BK app,
That's a Rattler, bro. That dude making bread, though.
Our Florida provides assistance with unpaid rent and utility bills. A federally funded program, Our Florida has helped over 30,000 Florida households. Need help with your rent and utilities? Visit ourflorida.com and sign up today.
All while Rattler hung his head and exited the field after an interception. Williams was a true freshman whose only time on the field was during the blowout of Western Carolina, where he went 5 of 10 for 84 yards. Yet today, the passionate Sooner fans had enough of Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler's draft stock had plummeted as well. During the first week of October, NFL draft expert Mel Kiper had all but given up on Rattler, saying, well, he's still in the top 25, but barely in the top 25. But he may have been a little bit overrated going into the 2021 season. In Manhattan,
damn, that's true. It be like
the
that.
Wildcats, Lincoln Riley's team again came away with a W in a tight 37-31 victory. Rattler, this time, quieted the critics as he was good on 22 of 25 passes for 2 touchdowns, seemed more on target, and had settled down quite a bit. So the time of the year rolled around again for the Texas State Fair and the Red River rivalry. The Sooners, who were favorites, were down 35-17 to Texas. Rattler had led the Sooners on 7 drives, but 2 had ended in turnovers and 2 had ended in 3-and-outs. After the second turnover, Lincoln Riley, to the delight of the Rattlesnake Hunters, officially made a change. Caleb Williams was given the reins and led OU to a comeback that left the fans.
I mean, he deserved it, though. Caleb Williams deserved it, man.
On 9 offensive drives, he finished with scores on 7 of those drives. With Williams in the game, the freshman ran for 88 yards and a touchdown and threw for 211 yards and 2 touchdowns, and leading the Sooners from the grave and out of a 28-7 deficit. For the entire next week, Lincoln Riley was mum on who would be the starting quarterback.
That's Caleb Williams.
Eyes on Sooner practice field could see that Rattler was now serving as quarterback for the second team. Yahoo Sports' Eric Edholm called Spencer Rattler a 2022 NFL draft loser, writing, "Perhaps our expectations were set too high following Rattler's strong play down the stretch last season, but there's no other way to say it. He hasn't met them." That led to Rattler being benched for the second time in 2 seasons. Last week against Texas, only to watch his backup, ballyhooed freshman Caleb Williams, lead a furious comeback win. In the week leading up to the Sooners' next game, the OU Daily interviewed Spencer Rattler's father, Mike Rattler, who said, for right now, he's focused on working for this team. And we'll see what happens after January 10th. Hopefully he'll be playing in the national championship on January 10th. 24 hours before the TCU-OU game, solid rumors circulated that Caleb Williams would be the starting quarterback for the Sooners on Saturday. Then, Caleb Williams was named OU's starting quarterback, the first true freshman to accomplish that for the Sooners since 1990. The Washington, D.C. native put on a show while Spencer Rattler watched from the sidelines the entire 4 quarters. Williams went 18 of 23 for 295 yards and added another 66 yards rushing.
Damn, that's damn near a perfect
game.
game.
Touchdown run in the 3rd quarter, and drew 3 pass interference penalties on long pass attempts that might have been huge gains. After one start, had the 6th best Heisman odds in Vegas, and the whispers that Spencer Rattler would transfer began to turn into yells. Pro Football Talk's Michael David Smith wrote, although Rattler played very well in his first year as Oklahoma's starter in 2020, he hasn't played as well this year and likely hasn't shown NFL teams enough to be a first-round draft pick. Given that he's now behind Williams on the depth chart, Rattler's best option will likely to be to transfer and try to improve his draft stock for next year.
Damn, he probably got a transfer.
Frogs, the media called the University of Oklahoma a brand new team with true championship potential with Williams at the helm. Sports Illustrated writer Albert Breer tweeted, Oklahoma QB Caleb Williams is really, really good, and Spencer Rattler is going to be playing somewhere else in 2022, and that somewhere probably won't be the NFL. For now, Caleb Williams is the new star of the University of Oklahoma, and Spencer Rattler looks far from threatening. It is unclear when the Rattler will strike again, but as of today, in Oklahoma, he is still in hibernation.
Ooh. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He probably got a transfer. He probably got to, man. If you guys made it this far, man, I love you guys, man. Look, man. Spencer Rattler, he got to get it together, man. I will see you guys in the next video. And let me know down below who's really better, Spencer Rattler or Caleb Williams.